Unexpected signals. The crystalline communication array of the celestial observer pulsed with an anomalous energy signature that defied every known scientific protocol. Captain Zarik's 4 eyes narrowed, their translucent membranes flickering with a mixture of professional curiosity and mounting frustration. "Rivix," they called to their senior analyst, "explain these readings again." The communication officer's mandibles clicked nervously, a biological tell that betrayed their internal anxiety. The holographic displays surrounding them shimmered with impossible data, energy readings that contradicted not just one, but multiple fundamental laws of quantum physics. "Sir," Rivix began, their voice modulator struggling to maintain a professional tone, "the human mining colony on P-789 is generating energy output equivalent to a small stellar core. Yet their reported reactor signatures suggest minimal power generation." Zarik's respiratory vents expanded and contracted in what passed for a deep sigh among their species. Humans. Always humans. Every time the Galactic Confederation encountered something that challenged their understanding of universal constants, humans were invariably at the center of the enigma. The research vessel's sensors continued streaming data that made even their most decorated scientists question their entire academic training. Already, 3 quantum physicists had submitted transfer requests to botanical research divisions, claiming that cataloging alien plant life would be significantly less stressful than attempting to comprehend human technological anomalies. "Lieutenant Zenny," Zarik addressed their second-in-command, "what do the initial reconnaissance reports suggest?" Zenny's bioluminescent spots pulsed with an excitement that was barely contained. Their species had a natural predisposition towards scientific exploration, and this particular mystery was proving to be exceptionally tantalizing. "The Galactic Council's preliminary directive is clear," Zenny reported, their translator rendering the complex linguistic clicks into smooth standard communication protocol. "We are to gather comprehensive information about human technical achievements without triggering a full first contact protocol." Zarik's upper membrane twitched, the closest approximation their species had to a smile. Their previous encounters with humans had been unpredictable. During the last diplomatic mission, the human representatives had somehow transformed a complex interspecies negotiation into an impromptu discussion about something called pizza, and whether the alien delegation might enjoy consuming it. As the celestial observer began its descent towards the mining colony's designated landing coordinates, the bridge crew worked with practiced efficiency. Scanning arrays swept the terrain, collecting data points that would later be analyzed and cross-referenced. What materialized on their visual displays was nothing short of technological absurdity. The mining colony looked like a chaotic assemblage of structures that defied every known engineering principle. Solar arrays were jerry-rigged with what appeared to be primitive adhesive strips. Processing plants looked like they were held together by nothing more than wishful thinking and what humans might call duct tape. "Incoming transmission," Rivix announced, their voice rising an octave. "And, sir, it appears to be originating from a modified food replicator." Before Zarik could respond, a human face appeared on the main communication screen. The individual was young, presumably a technician, with a mop of unruly hair and what appeared to be multiple caffeine-based beverages surrounding their workstation. "Hey there." The human's greeting was simultaneously casual and inexplicably cheerful. "Welcome to New Pittsburgh Mining Colony. Our regular communication systems are, well, brewing coffee at the moment. Sorry about that." Zarik exchanged a bewildered glance with their bridge crew. "Brewing coffee? As a communication system maintenance protocol? We've detected unusual energy readings from your facility," Zarik stated diplomatically, trying to maintain the professional decorum expected of a senior Galactic Confederation officer. "Our instruments suggest you're potentially violating several fundamental laws of physics." The human's grin widened. "Oh, that? Yeah, probably. You'll want to talk to our wizards about that. Just follow the trail of coffee cups and mysterious humming sounds. Can't miss it." Wizards? Humming sounds? Coffee cups? As the landing procedures commenced, Zarik made a quick personal log entry. note to self, research human term, wizard. Also investigate, what exactly is coffee, and why does it seem to power half of their technological infrastructure? Little did Captain Zarik know that their understanding of universal scientific principles was about to be comprehensively and hilariously challenged. The Wizards of New Pittsburgh. The emergency sirens of New Pittsburgh mining colony wailed with a cacophony that seemed more like a musical composition than a warning system. Flashing lights danced across the landing area, creating a chaotic light show that made the alien delegation's sensory appendages twitch in discomfort. Warning, core processing systems experiencing catastrophic breakdown, announced an automated voice that managed to sound simultaneously bored and sarcastic. Would someone please wake up Mir? This is getting ridiculous. Captain Zarik watched in stunned silence as a young human technician sprinted past, clutching a steaming cup of coffee like it was a sacred artifact containing the secrets of the universe. Behind the technician, what appeared to be a vending machine began dispensing energy drinks at seemingly random intervals, each can shooting out with enough force to suggest some form of compressed pneumatic system. Rivix, Zarik called, their voice low and measured, "Are you recording all of this?" The senior analyst's mandibles were clicking so rapidly they created a sound reminiscent of rapid-fire communication. "Sir, our sensors are having difficulty categorizing, well, any of this." As the alien delegation cautiously descended from the celestial observer, they were greeted by a scene of controlled chaos. Technicians moved with a strange combination of panic and remarkable efficiency. Cables that shouldn't logically connect were somehow transmitting power. Machinery hummed with an energy that defied their most advanced scientific understanding. A tall human approached them, wearing what could generously be described as a lab coat, if lab coats were traditionally adorned with coffee stains, mysterious burn marks, and what appeared to be circuitry sewn into the fabric. Dr. Elena Mir, the human introduced herself, extending a hand in a gesture the aliens recognized from previous cultural exchange databases. Her handshake was firm, her eyes bright with an intelligence that seemed to dance between absolute brilliance and controlled madness. "I understand you're here about our unconventional energy readings," she said, not waiting for a response. "Coffee?" Before any of the alien delegation could respond, she was already pouring a dark liquid into multiple containers from a thermos that seemed to generate its own gravitational field. Zarik's translator struggled to parse the rapid-fire explanation that followed. Words like quantum entanglement, coffee-powered quantum computing, and accidental interdimensional energy transfer tumbled out in a stream of consciousness that would make most scientific journals spontaneously combust. "You see," Dr. Mir continued, drawing complex diagrams in the air with what appeared to be a laser pointer modified from a coffee brewing implement, "we discovered that by precisely calibrating the molecular resonance of caffeine molecules, we could create stable quantum tunnels that transfer energy across seemingly impossible barriers." Rivix, the senior analyst, was taking notes frantically. 3 of their research team's quantum physicists had already gone pale, with one quietly updating their professional resignation template. The mining colony itself was a testament to human ingenuity and what could only be described as controlled technological anarchy. Solar panels were interconnected with what looked like repurposed cooking equipment. Cooling systems seemed to be powered by an elaborate network of coffee machines. A massive processing unit in the corner hummed with an energy signature that suggested it was simultaneously processing mining data and brewing the perfect espresso. "Our engineers," Dr. Mir said with a wink, "we call them wizards around here. Because sometimes, science is just magic that hasn't been explained yet." Lieutenant Zenny's bioluminescent spots were pulsing so rapidly they looked like a strobe light. Their species valued scientific methodology, predictability, carefully catalogued experiments. This human facility was the antithesis of everything they understood about technological development. "The energy readings," Zarik managed to interject, "they violate at least 16 fundamental laws of thermodynamics." Dr. Mir laughed, a sound that was equal parts genuine amusement and scientific triumph. "Laws are just suggestions when you're creative enough." As if to punctuate her statement, the vending machine behind her shot out another energy drink, which she deftly caught without looking, opening it with a practiced twist. "Welcome to New Pittsburgh," she said. "I hope you're ready to rewrite everything you thought you knew about physics." Zarik made another note in their personal log, hypothesis confirmed. Humans are definitively not bound by the same scientific constraints as other known galactic civilizations. Recommendation: extensive further study required. Bring more scientific notation tablets. And possibly coffee. Little did they know, this was just the beginning of understanding the true extent of human technological wizardry. Quantum chaos and coffee conspiracies. The next 24 standard galactic hours were a blur of scientific impossibility for the Celestial Observer's research team. What began as a routine investigation had transformed into what could only be described as an interdimensional academic fever dream. Dr. Elena Meir had given them unprecedented access to the New Pittsburgh mining colony's most closely guarded technological secrets. Each revelation seemed to unravel another layer of human innovation that defied conventional understanding. The key, Dr. Meir explained, gesturing to an elaborate network of coffee machines that were somehow simultaneously brewing espresso and managing complex quantum computations, is understanding that human creativity is our greatest technological tool. Captain Zarik watched in a state of perpetual bewilderment as Rivix attempted to document their findings. The senior analyst's mandibles were clicking at a rate that suggested either extreme excitement or an impending nervous breakdown. The Quantum Computing Center was a masterpiece of controlled chaos. Servers constructed from what appeared to be repurposed mining equipment hummed with an energy that seemed to bend the very fabric of scientific possibility. Cooling systems integrated coffee brewing mechanisms, with excess heat from computational processes being redirected to maintain optimal coffee temperatures. "We discovered something fascinating," Dr. Meir said, pulling up a holographic display that looked like a cross between a quantum mechanics textbook and an abstract art installation. Traditional computing relies on binary systems, zeros and ones. But we found a way to introduce what we call coffee states, a third computational dimension powered by caffeine molecular resonance. Lieutenant Zenny's bioluminescent spots were pulsing so rapidly they created a light show that would make most entertainment venues jealous. Their species had spent millennia developing computational technologies, and here were humans essentially treating quantum physics like an elaborate DIY project. The most shocking revelation came during a tour of their experimental energy transfer systems. What the aliens had initially perceived as impossible energy readings were actually a sophisticated network of quantum entanglement mechanisms that used coffee as a primary energy transmission medium. Every batch of coffee, Dr. Meir explained, contains unique quantum signatures. We've essentially turned coffee into a living, adaptive computational network. Rivix couldn't contain themselves. But that's impossible. The molecular complexity required to. Impossible? Dr. Meir interrupted with a laugh. That's just a word humans use to describe things we haven't figured out how to do yet. The mining colony itself was a testament to this philosophy. Equipment was constantly being modified, repurposed, and reimagined. A cooling system might suddenly become part of a computational array. A coffee machine could transform into a power regulator with a few strategic modifications. "Our wizards," she said, pointing to a group of engineers who looked like they hadn't slept in weeks, "don't see limitations. They see opportunities." Captain Zarik's personal log was becoming increasingly frantic. Notes about human technological approaches were interspersed with questions that bordered on philosophical revelations. How could a species approach technology with such radical creativity? What fundamental understanding of the universe were they missing? The most mind-bending moment came when Dr. Meir demonstrated their quantum communication prototype. Using what she casually referred to as a coffee-powered quantum entanglement communicator, she established a communication link that transmitted data instantaneously across what should have been impossible distances. "We're not just mining resources," she explained. "We're mining the very fabric of possibility." Rivix's research team was in various states of professional crisis. 3 quantum physicists had already submitted transfer requests to botanical research divisions. Another was quietly writing a research paper tentatively titled, Coffee, the Unknown Fundamental Force of the Universe. As the day progressed, Captain Zarik realized they were witnessing something far more significant than a simple technological anomaly. This was a fundamental reimagining of scientific methodology. Humans didn't just think outside the box, they seemed completely unaware that a box had ever existed. One more thing, Dr. Mir said as they concluded the tour, a mischievous glint in her eye. We're about to start our most ambitious project yet. We call it the Caffeine Quantum Resonance Engine. The alien delegation exchanged looks of a mixture of terror and anticipation. Whatever was coming next, they were certain of one thing: nothing would ever be the same. In his personal log, Captain Zarik made one final note for the day: recommendation to Galactic Confederation, do not, under any circumstances, allow humans to run out of coffee. The consequences could be unpredictable. Little did they know, the most extraordinary revelations were yet to come. The Caffeine Quantum Resonance Engine. The Caffeine Quantum Resonance Engine was not what anyone expected. Not the alien research team, not the Galactic Confederation, and certainly not the scientific community that would spend decades trying to comprehend its implications. What began as a seemingly impossible project in the depths of the New Pittsburgh mining colony was about to redefine the boundaries of technological innovation. Dr. Elena Mir stood before a massive contraption that looked like what would happen if a nuclear reactor, a coffee roasting facility, and an interdimensional portal had a particularly ambitious offspring. We've been working on this for years, she explained, her eyes gleaming with a mixture of scientific passion and barely contained excitement. Traditional energy transfer methods are linear. Boring. We're creating something dynamic. Captain Zarik and Lieutenant Zenny watched as the alien research team's most advanced scanning equipment struggled to make sense of the machinery before them. Sensors flickered, calibration systems went haywire, and more than one piece of equipment simply shut down in what could only be described as technological surrender. Rivix, the senior analyst, was no longer even attempting to take coherent notes. Their recording devices were producing what looked like abstract art instead of scientific documentation. The engine itself was a marvel of impossible engineering. Multiple coffee roasters were integrated directly into the core computational matrix. Quantum entanglement circuits were woven together with what appeared to be modified espresso machines. Cooling systems that looked like they had been cobbled together from mining equipment and kitchen appliances pulsed with an energy that seemed to defy fundamental laws of thermodynamics. The key, Dr. Mir continued, is understanding that energy is more than just a transfer of power. It's a conversation. And coffee? Coffee is the universal language. A young engineer nearby snorted, adding, yeah, and caffeine is the dialect. The demonstration began with what seemed like a simple process. A series of coffee beans, each carefully selected and quantum encoded, were introduced into the system. What happened next was nothing short of miraculous. The beans didn't just roast. They transformed. Quantum states shifted. Energy signatures that should have been impossible began to emerge. The entire facility hummed with a resonance that seemed to make the very fabric of reality vibrate slightly out of sync. We're not just generating power, Dr. Mir explained, her voice rising with enthusiasm. We're creating a dynamic energy ecosystem. Each batch of coffee contains unique quantum signatures. By carefully manipulating these signatures, we can create localized energy transfer networks that adapt in real time. Lieutenant Zenny's bioluminescent spots were creating a light show that would make most entertainment venues look dull by comparison. Their species had spent millennia developing computational technologies, and here were humans treating quantum physics like an elaborate kitchen experiment. The most shocking revelation came when Dr. Mir demonstrated the engine's capability to not just generate power, but to actually store and redistribute energy across seemingly impossible distances. A mining drill thousands of kilometers away suddenly sprang to life, powered by nothing more than the quantum resonance of a perfectly brewed espresso. Wizards, Captain Zarik muttered, remembering the human term. They're actually wizards. The implications were staggering. Traditional energy transfer methods relied on fixed infrastructure, predictable energy pathways. This system was alive. Adaptive. Almost sentient. We're not just mining resources, Dr. Mir said, a knowing smile playing on her lips. We're mining possibility itself. Rivik's research team was in complete disarray. 2 quantum physicists had already begun drafting papers with titles like Coffee, the Fifth Fundamental Force, and Quantum Brewing, a New Paradigm of Energy Transfer. Another was quietly updating their professional resignation template, muttering something about never being able to look at a coffee machine the same way again. As the demonstration concluded, Captain Zarik made a final note in their personal log, recommendation to Galactic Confederation, immediately classify all human coffee-related research. Possibility of technological singularity detected. Also, acquire significant coffee supplies. For research purposes. The Celestial Observer's research team had come expecting to document a minor technological anomaly. They were leaving with the understanding that everything they knew about energy, computation, and scientific possibility was about to change forever. And it all started with a cup of coffee. Beyond the impossible. The Galactic Confederation's Emergency Council session was anything but ordinary. Holographic displays flickered with data that challenged every known scientific paradigm, while senior representatives from across the galaxy stared in collective disbelief. Captain Zarik stood at the center of the chamber, delivering a report that would forever change interspecies technological understanding. Behind them, a holographic recreation of the New Pittsburgh mining colony's caffeine quantum resonance engine continued to pulse with impossible energy signatures. Ladies, gentlemen, and non-binary representatives of the Galactic Confederation, Zarik began, their 4 eyes blinking in a pattern that suggested profound intellectual exhaustion. Our understanding of physics, energy transfer, and technological innovation has been fundamentally and irrevocably altered. Rivix, standing nearby, looked like they had aged several biological cycles during the investigation. The senior analyst's mandibles clicked softly, a nervous habit that had become more pronounced throughout their extraordinary encounter with human technology. The report detailed discoveries that defied comprehension. The human mining colony wasn't just an isolated incident of technological innovation. It was a blueprint for an entirely new approach to scientific exploration, one that prioritized creativity, adaptability, and what humans casually referred to as thinking outside the box. Dr. Elena Mir's research had revealed something far more profound than a simple energy generation breakthrough. They had discovered a method of quantum information transfer that could potentially revolutionize communication, energy production, and computational capabilities across the galaxy. The humans call their approach wizard engineering, Zarik explained, projecting a series of diagrams that looked like a cross between advanced quantum mechanics and abstract art. It's a methodology that embraces uncertainty, views limitations as challenges, and treats scientific boundaries as suggestions rather than absolutes. The most mind-bending revelation was the role of coffee in their technological ecosystem. What had initially seemed like a joke, the idea that a beverage could be a fundamental component of advanced quantum computing, was now proven to be a sophisticated energy transfer and information storage medium. Lieutenant Zenny, whose bioluminescent spots had become a subject of scientific fascination during the investigation, stepped forward. Their ability to repurpose technology is unlike anything we've ever encountered. A cooling system becomes a computational array. A coffee machine transforms into a power regulator. Their engineers don't see obstacles, they see opportunities. The holographic displays showed multiple examples of human technological adaptability. Mining equipment modified into quantum communication devices. Kitchen appliances integrated into complex energy networks. Entire technological ecosystems built from what other species would consider waste or obsolete materials. The implications are staggering, Rivix added, their voice a mixture of scientific excitement and lingering bewilderment. We're looking at a potential technological paradigm shift. The humans don't just push boundaries, they seem completely unaware that boundaries exist. The council chamber was silent. Representatives from species known for their technological prowess looked simultaneously impressed, terrified, and slightly inadequate. Back at the New Pittsburgh mining colony, Dr. Elena Meir was already working on their next project. A whiteboard behind her was covered in complex diagrams, coffee stains, and what appeared to be mathematical equations written in multiple colors of marker. Next up, she muttered to herself, taking a long swig of espresso, quantum entanglement through advanced brewing techniques. Her team of wizards, engineers who saw the universe as a playground of infinite possibilities, worked around her, each seemingly operating on a wavelength that defied traditional scientific understanding. Captain Zarik's final recommendation to the Galactic Confederation was both a warning and an invitation. Do not attempt to control or restrict human technological innovation. Instead, prepare to be amazed, confused, and fundamentally transformed. As the report concluded, one thing became crystal clear: the universe had just become a far more interesting place. And it all started with a cup of coffee, a mining colony, and a group of humans who refused to accept the word impossible. The age of wizard engineering had begun.